Welcome to the deep dive.
Huh.
Okay, let's talk about something you might feel pretty deeply. You know, that quiet, nagging frustration.
Which one are we talking about?
The one where you're, consistently delivering the meaningful results, you're stabilizing projects, maybe mentoring the new hires.
Right, doing the actual work.
Exactly. But then you look around and you see other people advancing, getting promoted, maybe just because they're louder or, frankly, better at showing off their own achievements.
Oh, that frustration. Yeah, it's incredibly common.
If that sounds familiar, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
It really is. Because the research we looked into today, it tackles this head on. It brings up a pretty uncomfortable truth.
Which is?
That the people holding the biggest titles, they're not always the ones creating the biggest impact, the lasting kind anyway.
That's the core tension, right? The usual ways we measure success in the corporate world. Job titles, promotions, public praise, they're kind of flawed.
Deeply flawed, I'd say. They measure visibility, sure, but they completely miss the underlying value, the real contribution.
And the sources suggest that when an organization gets obsessed only with that visibility, well, a huge amount of quiet potential just leaks away, it gets lost.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack a concept that really flips the script. It's pretty disruptive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
True influence, according to this countercultural model, it doesn't come from pushing yourself up, no.
No.
It comes almost exclusively from elevating others.
Oh, elevating others.
Yeah, influence grounded in what the material calls a service mindset. So we're going to explore why businesses, teams, even whole organizations actually flourish when leaders focus more on people than on their own position.
And critically, how do we actually track this?
Yeah.
Because it sounds invisible.
Right. We'll get into a practical framework later, something called a service impact scorecard, designed to help see and measure this often unseen influence.
Okay, great. But first, let's tackle the default setting, the way things usually are, what the material calls the world's yardstick.
Yeah, we're all sort of conditioned, aren't we, to aim for the top, the peak of the org chart.
It's everywhere. The societal scorecard, it definitely prioritizes the external stuff over the internal, right?
Absolutely. Think about the indicators we all chase or are told to chase. That relentless ladder climb, promotions, bigger salaries.
The C-suite title, maybe public awards, even social media followers these days.
Yeah, all that validation. It feeds into this simple, powerful idea. Bigger and higher must be better.
And look, that climb feels necessary sometimes, I get it. But the material is really clear that building your influence only on status, just on that pedestal, it comes with some serious downsides.
Oh, definitely. Serious drawbacks. First off, it often leads to isolation at the top.
How so?
While if a leader is just focused on maintaining their position, they can get detached. They lose touch with the ground realities, the very things they're supposed to be managing.
Which leads to bad decisions, maybe even arrogance.
Often, yeah. And second, and this is maybe even more critical, that kind of influence is incredibly fragile.
Fragile. Like it can disappear quickly.
Exactly. When your whole sense of worth, your influence is tied up in a title or the company's stock price or what people are saying online, well, those things can vanish overnight.
Right. A reorg happens, public opinion shifts.
Poof, gone. The research actually calls it influence built like a house built on sand, very unstable.
Okay, I see the danger. But let's push back a bit. If it's so fragile, why is chasing status so, well, intoxicating?
Yeah.
Why do so many of us default to self-promotion? It feels natural.
That's a fair question. It's because it offers immediate rewards, short-term validation. It feels certain in the moment.
Right, the quick hit.
Yeah, but that constant chase forces a misplaced focus. You become preoccupied with keeping up appearances.
Which means?
Political games. Chasing quick wins that make you look good right now, even if they hurt things long-term. Your focus turns inward, protecting your ego, your position, instead of outward on the actual mission or the team.
And that sounds exhausting.
It leads straight to burnout, constantly performing, constantly defending your turf. It's just not sustainable. Status for its own sake. It's basically a dead-end street.
Okay, so if the world's scorecard is all about the crown we wear, the position, we need to talk about the alternative, this countercultural idea you mentioned. The towel.
Right. This is where the whole narrative flips upside down. It introduces what the material calls the paradox of power.
The paradox of power, okay.
The core principle is simple but radical. True impact isn't measured by the titles you collect. It's measured by the lives you touch.
lives touched, not titles earned.
Exactly. And the foundational image for this is powerful. It's that story of the Master Jesus doing the job of the absolute lowest servant.
Washing feet.
Washing feet. An act that completely, fundamentally redefined what greatness could even mean.
And the sources argue this isn't just about, like, being humble for humility's sake. It's actually strategic.
Precisely. It wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It showed that real leadership isn't about dominating, controlling, or lording it over people. That's the world's model, right?
Right. Power over people.
Instead, it's about humility, about self-sacrifice, and critically, about empowering others. The argument is that this kind of influence actually amplifies genuine authority because it works outside or maybe alongside the formal org chart.
It transcends structure.
Yes.
Right.
Think about some older examples cited, like Moses. His authority wasn't about charisma, was it? It was built on obedience, on relentless, often thankless service to his people.
Or Joseph, rising from a pit to basically running Egypt.
Exactly. Not through political maneuvering, but through sheer integrity and tireless service within whatever system he found himself in. He made things better wherever he was.
Okay, that really lands the point. The real weight of influence is in the depth of service, not just the height of the position. But,
Yeah,
okay, let me play devil's advocate.
go for it.
A cynic listening might say, okay, that sounds lovely, very philosophical. But how does humility win a tense board meeting? How does carrying a towel translate into actual strategic advantage in today's cutthroat business world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's the critical link. The material isn't pitching service just as a nice virtue. It's presenting it as a superior strategic model.
Superior? How?
Because it builds things that status alone can't. Things like deep relational capital, genuine trust, long-term resilience. Let's look at some real-world examples, some case studies from business.
Okay, good. Let's start with Southwest Airlines. They're famous, but they operate in a brutal industry. Low margins, fierce competition. How does service give them an edge there?
Well, everyone knows about their employees-first culture. That's foundational. Leadership genuinely tries to serve the staff. Good pay, empowering environment, that kind of thing. But dig a bit deeper. Think about their famous cross-functional approach. You know, pilots helping load bags during busy times, executives stepping in to cover shifts. That's not just PR, that's an operational act of service below pay grade.
Ah, interesting. So it's not just a slogan.
Not at all. It breaks down those rigid organizational silos. It fosters mutual respect across different roles, and the result, highly engaged, empowered employees who want to go the extra mile.
And that engagement then translates outward.
Directly into legendary customer service, incredible customer loyalty, and year after year of profitability when many competitors struggle. Their success isn't accidental. The material argues it's a direct strategic consequence of the service mindset.
Okay, that makes sense. What about Patagonia, the outdoor apparel company? Their influence seems different. It's not just about selling jackets.
No, definitely not. Their influence is built squarely on service, but service directed outwards towards the planet and ethical principles.
How does that play out?
They invest heavily in environmental causes. They actively encourage customers not to buy new stuff, but to repair their old gear. They're transparent about their supply chain.
Which seems counterintuitive for a company selling things.
Right. But they've built enormous influence and brand loyalty, not by trying to be the biggest apparel company, but by relentlessly serving their stated values and purpose. People trust them.
And that trust is valuable.
Hugely valuable. Rivals can't just buy that kind of authenticity. They're seen as leaders in corporate responsibility, proving that purpose-driven service isn't just good ethics. It drives economic success, too.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about the nonprofit world? Does this service to strategy model hold up there, too? Take Habitat for Humanity.
Absolutely. Their whole model is empowerment, which is just service in action. Think about it. Future homeowners aren't just given a house.
No, they have to put in sweat equity, right? Work alongside volunteers.
Exactly. They are partners in the process. This builds dignity, responsibility, a sense of ownership. It's far more impactful and sustainable than just a charitable handout.
So it's empowering people to serve themselves, in a way.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
more effective long-term than just solving the immediate problem for them.
Okay, one more. International Justice Mission, or IJM.
Another great example, their service focuses on strengthening the local justice systems where they work, training police, supporting courts, working with social services.
So they aren't just swooping in as foreign experts.
No, that's key. They aren't imposing external solutions. They are serving by empowering the local structures to tackle injustice systemically from within.
It sounds like a much deeper, longer-lasting form of influence.
It is. They multiply their impact by investing in the capacity of others, rather than just trying to maintain control or be the sole heroes.
Okay, so we're seeing the strategic advantage across different sectors. But a lot of this success, as you said, comes from the stuff that happens below the surface. The unseen work,
Right.
the patient mentoring, the quiet integrity, the support that doesn't get announced in a press release. Which brings us to maybe the toughest part, measuring the invisible. How do you quantify this stuff?
It is difficult because
Definitely.
we're fundamentally talking about the iceberg metaphor, right?
Okay, explain that.
The visible success, the completed project, the profit margin, the award that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real bulk, the real influence lies beneath the surface.
In the unseen depths.
Yeah, the hours spent patiently mentoring someone, the difficult conversation that led to reconciliation, the person who quietly removed a roadblock for their team without needing any credit. It's often slow, hidden work.
And it has a long-term ripple effect, doesn't it? It's not always immediate.
Exactly. Think about those parables, like the leaven working silently, unseen, but eventually transforming the whole batch of dough. Or the sower, you plant seeds, you wait patiently, the harvest comes later.
Right. True impact can be generational, or at least significantly delayed, which is why our standard quarterly reports or annual reviews completely miss it.
Totally. And this measurement challenge is compounded by something inherent in the model itself. Humility tends to defer recognition.
Meaning, if you're truly focused on service, you aren't shouting about your contributions.
Pretty much. But here's the strategic twist. That humility isn't weakness, it's a strength. It shifts your focus away from your own ego and onto the mission.
Ah, and when you aren't constantly chasing the spotlight,
You're free. Free to actually empower others to build collective success. You're working for, let's say, long-term returns or even eternal returns, not just the immediate applause.
okay, this feels like the practical pivot point. If we agree that serving others is strategically smarter, but it's hard to see and measure with the usual tools,
Yeah.
how do we stop this vital work from just being, well, overlooked? Or worse, exploited?
That's the crucial question. How do you make sure you aren't just becoming a doormat by constantly putting others first?
Right. We need a way to be intentional about it.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of the service impact scorecard comes in. Now, crucially, this isn't about performance reviews or collecting gold stars to feed your ego.
Okay, so what is it for?
It's a personal tool, a framework for intentionality. It's designed to force a conscious shift in your mindset away from status seeking towards service. It helps you notice and, yes, maybe even quantify the tangible results of what often feel like intangible acts.
Okay, let's break it down. If someone listening wants to try this, maybe starting this week, what kind of things should they actually be tracking? What are the categories?
The first big one is relational nurturing and empowerment. This is about investing in people directly.
So what does that look like practically?
You track specific instances like, did you have a mentorship conversation where you intentionally passed on a skill? Did you run a coaching session? Did you practice active listening in a meeting, really listening, not just waiting to talk?
Ooh, active listening without interrupting. That's a tough one for many.
It is. Or did you offer a sincere, specific word of encouragement that genuinely boosted someone's confidence or morale? It's about tracking those moments of real human connection and upliftment.
That's powerful because it measures presence, doesn't it? Relational health, not just ticking off tasks. Okay, what's the second category?
Practical support and resource sharing. This gets more tangible. This tracks concrete help that probably cost you some time or effort, but it ultimately benefited the team or the mission through someone else. Did you, say, jump in to help a colleague finish a task that wasn't even assigned to you just because they were swamped?
Right.
Did you proactively identify and remove some bureaucratic hurdle that was blocking your team's progress? Did you share your expertise, maybe a template or contact, without any expectation of getting credit or something back?
Service that's strategically below your pay grade, as you put it earlier.
Exactly. It's about facilitating others' success.
Okay, and the third category, this one sounds deeper. Burden-bearing and sacrificial presence.
Yeah, this measures empathy and availability when things get tough. It asks questions like, did I consciously sacrifice my own comfort or protected time this week to help someone else through an urgent need or a crisis?
Like staying late when someone's struggling, or changing your plans.
Yes, or just showing genuine flexibility and compassion when a team member was facing a personal difficulty. It's about choosing to be present and supportive, even when it's inconvenient for you, because the person or the mission needed it.
Wow. Okay, when you lay it out like that, using a scorecard like this, even just mentally tracking these things,
Yeah.
it really forces a shift in perspective, doesn't it?
Completely. The ultimate point is that it changes the fundamental question you ask yourself at the end of the day.
Instead of what did I accomplish for myself today?
You start asking, whose life did I empower today? Or maybe, where did I intentionally choose service over status today?
And that intentionality is the key.
That intentionality changes everything. It's what cultivates that genuine servant heart, which in turn builds the trust, the relational capital that makes you, your team, your whole organization more resilient, more effective, and ultimately capable of generating that deep, lasting impact we talked about.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels like the contrast is really stark.
Yeah.
You've got the allure of the pedestal, the title, the status, which looks appealing but can be isolating and fragile,
Right.
versus the enduring weight and power of the towel, which might seem lower but represents something much stronger.
Exactly. The towel symbolizes love in action, really. It shows humility as a genuine form of authority, and it finds strategic strength precisely in that vulnerability, in that service.
And for you listening, the takeaway here is that embracing this service model isn't just about being nice. It unlocks a whole new dimension of leadership, one that's grounded in real purpose and, crucially, deep trust.
And the material really emphasizes this. Leaders who operate this way become truly indispensable. They become strategic catalysts for growth because they build the kind of loyalty, engagement, and resilience that you simply cannot manufacture through status or command and control alone.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with this week. Something to chew on. If true influence, lasting influence, is measured by transformed lives and the overall health of the system around you, what specific personal metrics may be drawn from that service impact scorecard will you start tracking, even informally, starting tomorrow, to see if you are genuinely leading like a servant?